Hello and welcome to Insights with Thomas Caldwell on Thursday, January the 19th, 2023. Tom, politics always has a bearing on the economy. So let's talk about politics and where we are now.
Okay, usually I try to stay away from politics because it's filled with so many potholes, aside from my little barbs from time to time. But let me start by saying I'm really proud to be a Canadian. I believe this is the greatest country in the world, with the exception of the weather, of course, period. It's a tolerant society. It's a wonderful society. Our history is incredibly positive. The things we've done in the world to help others around the world, whether it be in the wars or anything else, Canada stood for freedom. But I really feel compelled to say something here because, you know, it seems to me if you don't have real leadership in a company or a country, you have splintering. We don't have that in Canada. We have leadership that's looking for photo opportunities, or how can I buy some votes by catering to some specific group. And in many ways, we've ceased to become a country. We are a tyranny of minorities and special interest groups. And that's what tends to happen. And what I mean by that, there's lots of talk these days about safe places and diversity. There is no safe place for diversity of thought, opinion, or discussion. And that's morally wrong. That's not what this country is. But that's what we've become. We have to accept mantras, if you will. For example, if you are a professor in a university and you question the science of climate change, not to get into the climate change debate, but if you question it, you will lose your job and you will never work again in academia. And academia is where we should have open discussion. Or you know, we have things that we are told that aren't necessarily so. I mean, you see, Roy McCritchy's son is a teacher in British Columbia who suggested many of the deaths in residential schools were related to disease, which, by the way, is probably closer to the truth if you look at infant mortality 100 years ago. He lost his job. He's not going to work again as a teacher. This is wrong. It's morally wrong because our country has grown on the basis of freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of ideas, and debate. We don't debate anymore ideas. We attack people for their opinions. And that's not what Canada is. That's not the Canada I grew up on. That's not the Canada our armies fought for. That's not us, and we have to get beyond that. And it's because of lack of leadership, not having a vision, or even proud of Canada, demanding we put our flags at half-mast, that kind of thing. You'd never debase the pride you have in your history, and you don't rewrite history to fill the new narrative, and we're having a lot of that.
So where do you think this leads us to now?
Well, we're at a disadvantage. I mean, Canada is not considered a real investment destination. It's not really considered as anything. It is seen as a country that is in the post-development era. For example, we can't get pipelines anywhere because in the West Coast, varying special interest or indigenous groups, oh, we can't have a pipeline. No, they weren't granted a veto over the rest of this country. Or Quebec, for example, saying, oh, you can't have pipelines across Quebec. We buy our oil from Venezuela or Saudi Arabia kind of thing. Oh, by the way, we will benefit from the equalization payments from Alberta. But this is nonsense. We're a country or we're not a country. So people outside are looking at this. For example, Chancellor Schroeder comes from Germany saying, we need liquefied natural gas now. And our Prime Minister said, well, there's no business case for that, which is absolute lunacy. And he said, but we can help you with hydrogen. By the way, that's what you powered the Hindenburg with, maybe 10 years from now. And I don't know what the German word for moron is, but I'm sure that's what Mr. Schroeder thought about. Look, you can see the photos. Look in his face. He couldn't believe. Canada is not dependable as an ally, an economic partner that contributed to world peace in any significant way. We've got to come up to the mark in terms of leadership. And I hold the political parties responsible. Don't foist leaders on us who are not leaders. And we need to change that. And we're not seen as, and we're losing our pride and our confidence in ourselves. You know, the great line, oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Let's start doing that.
Thank you so much, Tom. And thank you all for watching. Bye for now.